Commissioners meeting. We'd like to welcome you. We'd like to ask at this time if you have a cell phone or any other electronic device, if you would just please turn it off until we get through with the meeting. I'd like to make one announcement before we start. Commissioner Plant is missing tonight. She has been sick and in the hospital. She is home now, but she's at home one additional day under doctor's order. So we do miss her being here tonight, and she asked to express her appreciation for all the cards and prayers and all while she has been sick. At this time, will you please stand for the invocation to be given by Commissioner McCoy and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let me ask you just to bow with me, please. Father, we just come to you, thanking you as always for your goodness and your mercy toward us. Father, we pray especially tonight for that good gift that only comes from above. We just ask for that wisdom to give us what is necessary here to make the decisions, Lord, that we will make, hopefully to benefit Meriwether County and its citizens. And Father, as always, we just ask you to forgive us where we fail. In Christ Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the first item to take care of will be to adopt the agenda, and we do have a few changes. First of all, under new business, number 2 will be EMS and a retirement. We will move number 2, adoption of the millage rate, to number 10. At the end of new business, or right before that, number 8, if you'll please put down a change order on Beaver Chase. And number 9, a sign application for the covered bridge. So if you'll make those changes. Okay, with those changes, can we have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor? All right, we have the minutes from the August 10th regular meeting and the August 10th work session. We've had a chance to look over these and read them. Are there any changes or corrections or omissions?
Having read those, I recommend we accept them, Madam Chair.
All right, we have a second.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. All right, now we'll come to comments from municipalities. We'll have Mayor Glover. Governor Glover, Mayor Glover from Greenville. All right, thank you.
Last week I was one frame there last month.
I know
That's
it.
true too.
I'm moving you on up. All right, we have Mayor Prater from Warm Springs.
Madam Chairman, Commissioners, things are still moving up in Warm Springs. Hotel is going well. Hazmat has finished their job, and we're waiting for trusses to begin the process of rebuilding. We have one new minority-owned business coming to town, and prospects of one, maybe 2 others. Had our second planning meeting yesterday, looking at downtown redevelopment, and one of the things that we're especially looking at is making things more closer to ADA compliant. There's going to be some problems that we may never be able to get into compliance, but we need to put railings on the high steps going to Bullock House and other businesses. We've had an investment company contact us representing a large corporation that wants to put a business in our city, and we'll talk about that as time goes on. Today we cut one of 3 trees that we're cutting on the parking lot. The engineers have finished the first set of plans and sent them to USDA for approval, and so hopefully soon we'll get that paved. The City of Warm Springs and Meriwether County Tourism has been invited to have an exhibit at a showing at the Columbus Convention Center September 9th through 11th. And this is the second year that the city has participated and the first year that we've participated in. Thank you.
Thank you. Good news. Okay, are there any other cities represented? Am I missing anyone? All right, we'll move on to our constitutional officers. And I do not see any. I know court is still going on. So, anybody from any of those offices? Okay. All right, we'll move on to our department heads. We'll start here with Ron, public hearings. Brent?
Yeah, actually, I do have just one quick thing. I'd like to commend Public Works, Tyrell and them for the diligence and the work that they've been performing, helping trying to get the outside of 911 in shape. As you know, the inside is just about complete, but they've been working very hard this week and last, putting things to measure what you can do with a few loads of road millings that were donated by DOT. It really looks like paper, but they've been doing a great job, and it's been hot, and just wanted to commend them for the job they've done.
Thank you. Tyrell?
All right, I can follow that.
I know. Joey? Barnes? There you are. I can see. Okay.
Nothing at this time.
Okay. Keith? Was it Miss Jane here? Am I missing-
She had to leave. She had to leave.
She had to leave. Okay. Does that cover all the department heads? Is there anyone else? Okay, we'll move on to Carolyn with the chamber.
Three quick things. One, I sent you all an invitation today, late this afternoon, for a field trip to Sarahby. This is a planned community up in the Calumet area. So it's a great opportunity for us to learn a little bit more about that community and what it has done to be so successful. And in particular, I think this is a timely moment for us because I did the presentation for our kickoff leadership marathon last Friday, and in so doing, I was looking up the latest statistics, census and whatnot for our county, and noticed that Meriwether County's population has dropped about 3.6% over the last 5 years, while the state of Georgia as a whole has grown by 18%. So I think that in light of the planned community, I think it's an opportune time for us to think about, what that trend continues, what are there things that we might do about it to not only sustain our community, but to help it thrive into the future. So it's a great opportunity for all of our leaders to participate in this event. I hope y'all can come.
I haven't seen the email yet. What's the date?
I'm sorry, September the 8th. And we'll leave here at, we need to be there by 2, so we'll leave here at 12:30. And thank you for allowing us to use the county bus. Second thing, we do have the candidates forum set up for the, in anticipation of the November election. And we have local candidates that will be involved in that forum on October the 11th. So that's for our tax commissioner, sheriff, and the board of commissioners seat for 2nd District. And then on the 13th, which is the following Thursday, we have the candidates forum for the congressional races and the state races.
That's October 13th.
And then the last thing I wanted to share with you is something I've already talked to Beth about, but I wanted to share with the rest of the commissioners because I think it speaks highly of our community and particularly the support that we have from the board of commissioners for our tourism efforts. Our county has been invited to serve as a county case study for the ACCG conference in Jekyll Island towards the end of September. And we have been selected to be the case study for their continuing education class on tourism and the arts. And I just want to read to you one of the statements here. It says, Meriwether County is doing the best job in any rural community around the state. So we want the best to be our example county during our course. And so we have an hour and a half to do the presentation. And I can assure you I will be telling them that I'll tell all the county commissioners across the state of Georgia that are in the audience that one of the reasons we have been enabled to
Okay, next on our agenda is our public hearing, and we do have a couple of cases to hear there. So this time, can we have a motion to go into a public hearing?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, we're in public hearing. I'll turn it over to Ron.
We've got two cases, rezoned cases for the county commission to look at and vote on tonight. The first case comes from John and Michelle Pate. They own 65.7 acres at 5963 Callaway Road, and that's in the RR zoning district, 10 acre minimum lot size. And they plan to build a house on this property, but they are requesting approval from the county board of commissioners to allow them to rezone 3.69 acres to RD for the purpose of their daughter and son-in-law to build a residence there. I've got a copy of the map to show you where that property is. Can everybody see that? This represents 3.69 acres right here, and Mr. and Ms. Pate own this 65 acres. And this is what they want to rezone for the purpose of daughter and son-in-law to build a residence. Planning Commission has reviewed it. Planning Commission recommends to be approved. Ms. Pate is in the audience if you have any questions for her.
Was there any opposition after you posted this?
No opposition.
Again, if there's anybody who needs to sign in to speak at the public hearing, we do need you to come forward and sign in. Any questions from the board?
Okay, you're going to vote on these separate, aren't you? Here,
Yeah.
we'll hear both applications and vote on.
We'll go back into regular session.
All right, the second application for rezoning comes from Mr. Samuel Cobb.
Ron, is there anybody in the audience who wants to speak on this particular
Application.
case? Okay.
Okay, the next application comes from Mr. Samuel Cobb. He owns He owns 25 acres at the intersection of Primrose Road and Highway 54, just outside the city limits of Lone Oak. That is zoned residential, and Mr. Cobb is requesting to rezone 6 acres of that residential lot to commercial. And the purpose of his rezoning request so that he might set up a RV construction and repair business. And this is kind of one of those right down here. This is the property in question. It's Primrose Road, and there's Highway 54, about 1,700 feet of road frontage on both of the roads. And he will have 6 acres of commercial out here in the front. Questions?
Any questions from them?
I have some questions, but before I ask, I do want to hear from if the gentleman's here.
He's here, Mr. Cobb is here.
Because that property, one side of Primrose is District 2, and then on the other side is District 1. Ms. Plant is not here today, so I would definitely make sure that she gets this information, but I do want to hear from the gentleman, and I have some questions too.
Okay.
But I'll ask the questions after I hear this presentation, if he
Okay.
wants to speak.
All right, Mr. Cobb, don't speak.
Signing.
Yes, please.
Yeah, anyway, what here you go.
Make sure it's right one.
Let's see. This
Should have the
No,
same.
this is not rezoned. 5 years.
Should be number 3, what do you call it?
No, this is sidewalk. It's either.
Thank y'all. Yeah, we just want to do a RV repair, sell RVs. We have some, sell parts, supplies, sell utility trailers, enclosed trailers, anything to do with camping or RVs and just horse trailers and stuff like that. Repair and sell.
What is around this area?
It's residential.
Is it all residential now?
I think the tree farm right next door. In Walnut. On the right-hand side, you got a little bit of land, and you got Cato's. And then behind it, you got I guess, single-family living back there.
How far is the Cato's? Is that Cato's paving
Yes.
or construction?
Yes.
How close is that?
What, 1/8 of a mile?
Yeah.
That's the most.
See the map again.
Any questions? Commissioner Hines,
Yeah, I
you got
do.
some-
Thank you so much. And first of all, I'm always excited about people expanding their business and entrepreneurship, but I do have some questions and probably have to get back even more. The frontage of it, you're talking about the actual building being on 54. What type of building, what kind of, it says commercial, it doesn't indicate the structure of the building. It does not indicate on this application how far back, it doesn't talk about parking, it doesn't give you any specs in reference to that. That's one thing that I would like to know, what does the actual drawing look like, what's the parking's gonna be? And secondly, when you're coming off of Primrose to 54, there's a blind spot. It's very hard when people are turning on to 54. So once again, I'm concerned about that kind of traffic. Where will be people pulling in to get into your business versus coming out? And since you're going to have big pieces of property, is it strictly going to be fixing or repairing, or you're going to also have RVs lined up, kind of like a car dealership?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. The other thing that I would like this board to look into is look at our comprehensive plan for this, for what is zoned, because it is very residential in that area. So once again, just get some more information regarding it.
I'd like to have the drive actually off of Primrose Road instead of off of 54.
So the drive will be,
Yeah.
okay. And I'm just saying for all due purposes, that kind of information is not presented to us right now.
Yes, ma'am.
That type of information I would like to know prior to making a decision. And since if you are going to have the driveway on Primrose Road, then that's a residential area. It's very residential, and the traffic flow, So these are some things that I would like. So once again, as I stated, it is part of, on one side is in my district, and the other side is in District 2. And I think, the continuity of what that area is going to look like is another concern of mine. Okay.
Commissioner Hines, I can answer some of your questions.
Please do.
He will have to maintain a vegetative buffer between his commercial property and his residential property.
And what is that buffer?
It's, I believe it's 20 feet,
Okay.
20 feet wide, vegetative buffer. And the other thing you asked about the comprehensive plan, our land use development plan calls for commercial to be either in cities or nearby,
Okay.
as opposed to being commercial scattered throughout the county.
Okay.
And so that's one justification for his approval for this law.
Okay. What about the parking part of it? If your frontage is going to be coming into the businesses on Primrose, where's parking?
I was going to come in right there and just park toward the shop area, which will be on top of the hill, probably a couple hundred feet from the road.
Well, I'll get a
So how many parking lots, or parking space are you going to need? And does that depend on the size of the commercial building as well, Ron? Depending on the square footage of the building determines how much parking facility you have to have there?
It does, that's an all.
All right, but it's not in the report that we received. It does not specify what that looks like.
Well, that's right, and that's because we don't have a site plan yet. He will develop a site plan, and I believe he's buying his property contingent upon
Yeah.
approval.
Yeah,
All right,
we don't own the property yet, so
okay,
it won't close till Monday if we can get everything approved. So,
okay.
Well, we do have the development ordinances already in place, and they will address your concern about the commercial next to residential. You're concerned about parking, not having a minimum number of space for handicapped people, and of course, you got to have space for park his sale units, his RV.
So prior to getting approved, the board never gets information about the site as far as the structure of the building, what it's gonna look like? Do we get that information prior to that, or we don't?
No, usually you don't.
Okay.
Normally you don't.
And the reason I'm asking is because part of that is residential. And if you want continuity, what does that look like? Is it going to be a 10 building, the commercial building, what is it gonna look like in comparison to an industrial looking building or,
the shop will be metal,
it's a metal
metal
building?
building, but we wouldn't do the office, which is gonna be later down the road because that's saving money.
Okay, I understand. But then your equipment and everything's gonna be out in the front?
No, ma'am, we'll probably do it behind the shop, more or less. As far as the stuff that's for sale, yes, ma'am, we put it on the road frontage so people can see it.
Okay,
As far as RVs, trailers, horse trailers.
okay. Thank you, appreciate that.
Any other questions? Anybody in the audience want to speak on that particular case? Ron, anything else from you?
No, that's all, it's in those two cases.
Okay. Who does will you be, did you give a recommendation?
Yes,
on
I
that?
did give a recommendation, that should be passed.
Yeah.
I recommended that it be approved, and planning commission has met on it, and they recommended also that it be approved.
I'd recommend that y'all go ahead and if you don't have any more questions, you can close those public hearings, and then we'll open the one for Basers.
All right, if there's no further questions on these two cases, can we close the public hearing?
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor? All right, now we need to take action on the two. Do you want us to go ahead and do that and then go to the
Yes, ma'am.
public
Then
hearing?
we'll go to
Okay, on the first case, is presented to us, John and Michelle Papp. Do we have a motion regarding this request?
Madam Chairman, based on the recommendation from Mr. Garrett, I make a motion that we move forward with this and allow the rezoning to happen.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor? All right, on the second case, Mr. Samuel Cobb, and I want to mention one thing on this. Part of this is in Commissioner Plant's district, and of course, she is not able to be here tonight. And after having discussion with her today, I know she would like for us to possibly table this so we could have more discussion with her present, because she and Commissioner Hines do share this district. Are there any other comments?
Madam Chair, I will agree with you on that. And I thank the gentleman for sharing information, but I still think I'd like to get some more information regarding this as well, and making sure we are in compliance with our comprehensive plan.
Okay.
With that being said, can we have a motion to table case number 4, Samuel Cobb?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, and we will work to get that other information, Mr. Gay, and
Yes, ma'am.
whomever needs to get that for us.
We'll get that, and Ron and I'll get together and get that
Okay.
back for the board. We'll bring this back at your next meeting.
Okay. All right, we need to go into a public hearing again. This
Next meeting, morning meeting, or the night meeting?
Morning meeting, you want to do it
next one will be
tonight?
morning.
September 14th.
Public hearing's closed, so that really should not impact anybody wanting to speak. You already closed the public hearing, and so it would be a decision of the board. You guys can ask questions, but no one else in the audience can come
Okay.
and engage in the public hearing.
All right, we need to go into a public hearing again for the request to close Acres Road. We have a motion,
So moved.
have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, we're in public hearing. Mr. Gay?
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chairman, Commissioners, we've had a request to close Acres Road, which runs from Massingale Mill Road over to, I think it's Barron Road, and it's this section of roadway here that's depicted on the map. And I'll pass this around if you guys want to take a look at that. And with that request came before the board. You guys asked that we advertise and hold a public hearing. Ron has properly advertised this in the local newspaper. We have identified and I think notified the property owners on the roadway. And the issue is back for you tonight. And of course, the Georgia state law on this says that, you know, if there's a request to review a road and a request to abandon the roadway, that you have to hold a public hearing. And what you want to do is determine whether or not the road continues to serve a public purpose. And of course, if it doesn't, if you found that it's not a substantial public purpose, then you can indeed close the roadway and abandon the roadway. So you're here tonight to hear the request on that. I think there's really 3 property owners on the road. 2 of those property owners indicated willingness to close the roadway, and I think the remaining property owner does not wish to have the roadway closed. So, yes, ma'am, open it for comments, and we go from there.
Anyone here to speak on the closing of Acres Road? You'll come up here if you'll sign in and,
Wait a minute, they already have.
okay, you've already signed in, who was it? Bob McIsaac,
Yes.
is that right?
First on the list, I think Mr. Lumsden should go first since he made the request.
Okay, all right. Mr. Lumsden.
Sure. Because I'd like to hear your reasons.
Madam Chairman, Commissioners, we are petitioning to close Acres Road. We have 3 county roads that access a subdivision and Mrs. Ratliff's property. Barron Road and Acres Road are 2 dirt roads, county roads, that empty on to Massingale's Mill Road, which is a paved road. They're very close to each other. Barron Road is relatively flat and it's the preferred route for everyone. Also, it's the closest and the fastest road to get to the EMTs or the volunteer fire department in Gay. Acres has challenging terrain, especially during the rainy season. It also takes more time and money for the county to maintain that road. And I challenge anyone to go on that road. No one travels that road during the winter time. By our camera census, which we've just put out trail cameras, we have 1 to 2 cars per day during the daylight hours that go up and down that road. During the nighttime hours, that's when most of the dumping and the drug use and those kind of things take place there. I have the only driveway on Acres Road. 3 of the 4 landowners, or I know 2 of the people are partners, we are in agreement. We want to close the road because of the dumping and the constant cleanup. We have never asked the county to come out and clean up anything, and it is becoming just it's an ongoing problem that I can't even tell you. Lastly, my property is in a perpetual easement. That easement is with the state of Georgia, and it protects the waterways, and it also prevents any kind of development into perpetuity. So there's no plan to develop the property. We want to keep everything natural as it is. We're good stewards of the land, and there is no reason for anyone to have to travel down Acres Road when you've got a flat road that goes straight to the same paved road, which is then just a few, 1,000 feet. Thank you for your consideration. We appreciate it.
Thank you. McIsaac.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, members of the board. My name is Bob McIsaac. I live on Oxnest Drive, which is just off of Buell Evans Road, about a half a mile up from where Acres Road starts at Barron. And actually, you make some good points. But I think the road is not that challenging. I like the road, and it's the most direct route from there, from my place, to Greenville, or all points south of the county. I can't say for sure that none of the people that live where I live, but there are 73 houses around my neighborhood. I know some of those people use Acres Road. I'm not the only one. Judging from the tire tracks is all I'm going to judge by. I don't have cameras. So I'm admitted to being selfish. I prefer not to go on Barron Road. I think Barron Road is straighter, but it's not as well maintained. And the bridge that goes over the creek has tipped a corner. I don't know if anybody has been on that road lately. That bridge is in pretty bad shape. Guardrails are all beat up, whereas the bridge on Acres Road is in very good shape. So I would prefer that the road stay open. Any questions for me?
How much would you be inconvenienced, Bob, if you had to?
I did a measure. It's a round trip to Greenville. It will add 2.5 miles to go up Barron Road and then down Massapequa Mill. So about 1.25 miles each way. So it's not a huge inconvenience by any means. Although, I admit I don't use the road every day. I use it probably 2 or 3 times a week. Although I used it 4 times today because I had jury duty this morning, so I did that a couple of times today, like Wednesdays. So it's not a huge inconvenience, but I guess it would add up over the course of a year. And I think it seems to me that the county they take better care of that road than they do Barron Road. I may be wrong, this is my perception. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Mr. Ratliff.
Another last one?
No, ma'am.
Last man standing, or is there anyone else who wants to speak against it? I'm listening to the arguments.
There's 2 others below you to still speak.
For or against?
I don't know.
Because I wanted to know whether there were some valid reasons that I haven't already heard. All right. I am Jean Ratliff, and I've been out on Acres. Primarily, my property is on Acres Road. There's just a little bitty, I think you saw, just a little bitty section on Barron. And the only reason I have a mailbox down there on Barron Road is because we used to own the land across the road, and to keep people from building right in front of us where we came out, we put the mailbox and a driveway there. The house is way back in the middle of the property, and it just goes deep. It fronts mostly on Acres Road. I do have, let me see if I can find it. I don't know if you can see it or not, but the gate, that's a farm gate. This is most of the way down Acres Road where you are, your property is. And this is not every day, not every week, not every month, but periodically I harvest pulpwood and or timber off of this land. And when that's done, this is the gate that comes out on Acres Road. And if I need to, I can also have hay brought in that way. Otherwise, it has to go through all the way up in and through my yard. And this is, I have a very steep yard. If you think Acres Road is steep, you should see that yard. And I cannot have that sometimes in the winter when it gets, it just won't work. I had one fella try it one time, and the Coley fella from, he's moved to California now, but he actually came over with his tractor and pulled the truck and trailer out for me as a favor. And but I do need this gate, I do need access on that road. It's just a matter of survival, I guess you'd say. And in addition to that, this is the most direct route to Greenville. And it doesn't sound like a lot when you talk about 1.5 miles or 1.25 miles. You measure 1.25 miles? Okay. The vehicle I have now doesn't do 10s.
So I wasn't sure of but I know it's more than a mile for sure. But for example, the large cities from where we live are, I'm going to do it clockwise, and I'm going to start with Fayetteville, approximately, give or take a mile, 30 miles that way. Going around to Griffin, about 30 miles. Going to Thomaston, about 30 miles. Going to LaGrange, 30 miles. I'm mentioning this because this is where the big stores and where you get lots of goods and services. And if you add those 60-mile round trips and you add miles on top of it, it really adds up. Okay, it's not just wear and tear on the vehicle, it's gas money. And mile and a quarter, 2.5 miles, that's gas and time. It's tremendous. I have to allot half a day when I go to town to do a lot of collective shopping. I do, get all the errands in one lump so I can do everything, knock everything out at the same time I'm in town. And here's the other thing. You talked about tourism in the county. I think you're losing a big opportunity to channel the people from where I am and that live around me, to channel them into Greenville and into Warm Springs. I mean, there are great things in Warm Springs. I happen to know. I've taken out-of-state visitors on a number of occasions. I've taken them to the Bullock House where it used to be, but it's burnt because it's back now. And I sent a notice to a couple of my out-of-state friends about it being back. And of course, the Main Street attractions and the Little White House. I've had several older relatives that I took there. I know they're gone now, but at the time they were older, and they were very thrilled to see that. And it was a nice steakhouse. Used to be at least guess that. I'm out in the field. I see the people out there. Here's what's happening right now. If the only road you maintain is Beulah Evans, what you're doing is channeling your people up to Luthersville Road. And once they get out there, they might as well go on to Noonan, Serenby, up above that, Palmetto, that area. They've got a lot of attractions, Peachtree City, all kinds of stuff. So why are you wasting your resource and sending them up there when you could have that road open and inviting and take them directly, shortest route, into Greenville and then Warm Springs? And I think even having some of those little, you usually see them in amusement parks or sometimes quaint villages, and if you want a quaint village, you have to build one. They have little, like signposts, and they'll have a directional thing. This way to Warm Springs, this way to Woodbury, Also, if I come out Acers Road onto Massingdale's Mill Road, I turn right, it's just a short dog leg over the pond, and then left. And you go straight up Jones Mill Road into Woodbury, which also has its Main Street, antique shops, mostly things. But you go just past that, and you're right out at Lake Meriwether, which is another resource that you people seem to be trying to build. I mean, so it's a personal hardship for me if I don't have that. And I just had, not just me going out, but I've had people coming in and just, not too far distant past. I had a home construction company that came from I believe he came from the Warm Springs area. Came out there to rebuild the bathroom for me. They were there several days working, and at lunchtime they headed for Greenville in a hurry. They had to get back within the hour because their boss ran a tight ship. And that I have a large-scale bush hopping fellow that comes up from that area. Comes up, I even asked him if he's worried about that road, and I told him how it was contoured and about the ditches, not that wide. And he said, no problem. And he brought heavy machinery up there. He also brought another time a man to fix my well when it malfunctioned. I've had, it's a dry season firewood. Now I use my fireplace as a heating source. I've gone through 2 furnaces and I've given up, and so I roll off a room and I heat with the fireplace. But have that delivered, again, he used that road. I remember that. I even asked him because I told him ahead of time what it was like. Delivery from Pine Mountain, came up through, the appropriate roads. And then a Greenville area man who has done some mowing for me and recently cut brush for me. And I specifically asked him the last time I spoke to him, and he comes up Acres Road. And right now I'm trying to get a roofing contract. If anybody has any ideas, call me. Okay, it's too far for the small jobs routinely that need to be done, like for most people. And I have to really talk them into coming over there, even from Greenville, from around that, because a lot of the stuff I need, like something heavy moved. It's not that long a job, but I don't want to pay them like $50 or $100 just to pick up a heavy piece of something and move it. But I do have to make, pay them their time, and they kind of need something to entice them into driving that far. Even from Greenville, it's a little bit of a drive, And if you can go right next door and work for somebody for the same money, why bother? And it's just that simple. I don't need extra. I can't tell someone, well, you could have come this way, but I'm sorry, you're going to have to go another couple of miles or more now to get out here to do this. Pretty much boils down to being a favor for me. I'm paying them, but it's still a favor that they're driving that way. And what else can I say? Oh yeah, I had a stone and brick mason from Pine Mountain came through there to begin the fireplace to repair some fire brick. And 911 emergency services, again, I would be calling Greenville, I don't know, takes the sheriff a while to get out there. We tried it one time some years ago, and that was when they were really anxious to jump in their cars and come out, and it took a while. And by that time, it's whatever's happened has been and done and gone. What can I tell you? I just, if I could go Buell Evans, I said, you're up on Mississville Road, there's no reason in order. Even going to Fayetteville, it would seem as if I'm going north when I come out of my house. It would seem as if going north on Buell Evans made more sense. It doesn't. It's actually 3 miles to the pavement, and then you're still over on Mississville Road, and you have to travel all the way back to there. I actually went out of my way and did that route a couple weeks ago, just to measure it on my odometer and see if maybe something had changed since the last time I tried it. But that's it. I have people coming in that I need to do work, and again, I think you're losing a really good chance for your tourism. If you don't get the people down that way, don't entice them down, instead just send them up north.
Commissioner McCoy has a
Ms.
question.
Ratliff, your mailbox is actually on Barron Road, is that what I didn't catch what all you
Yes, it was
said.
put there because we originally owned the land across from it.
Okay. So your address is Barron Road?
Yes, it is.
Okay. The other question I wanted to ask, you were talking about being out of way even to go to Fayetteville. Do you not use Barron Road to go over to?
I do that now. This is a road gate. It's
Yes,
down,
ma'am.
it's down on Acres, and that's.
Yes, ma'am, I've looked at that.
Yeah, okay, I just
Yeah, I
want
have.
to make sure.
Yeah.
If I can put a farm mailbox down there, that would clear things up, because
What-
right now I have both the farm name and I have my name going to
Okay.
that other mailbox. But if it would help the cause to keep the road, I can have a mailbox put there and send the farm mail there.
I think what I
Because
heard,
this is a farm exit.
and I want you to clarify this for me, going north, Acres Road is not your best bet.
No,
Going
that's
south
That's
it
going
is.
south, that's what I'm saying.
Only going south, does that save you any time?
Pretty much.
Okay.
But I do come south a lot, and as a matter of fact, I just found out that they've, for example, built a store that I've been going to Fayetteville for, has been built over in LaGrange, and I was starting to go there, and I would rather that I didn't have, the extra, because it's going to save me. The reason I would do that is because it's going to save me a couple of miles, literally.
Commissioner Trickill had a question too.
The farm gate that you have, does it have a lock on it at all times?
Yes, absolutely. And I also, I think you can see it here, let me get it back up.
So you have to go out to that gate to open it when you have deliveries?
If I have, well, if they're taking wood out, it pretty much, well, I've had them close it at the end of the day, yes. But it stays locked unless there's something going through. And when it's not being used, we maintain the ditch, the drainage ditch, because if you don't do that, it would wash the road.
Sure.
And the only time that ditch changes a bridge is whenever you're going in and out. And I said it's like seasonal or with pulpwood, more than seasonal and timber. And it's not a planted crop, but it's like you have people go in there and they will harvest what's ready. And it does pretty good bit, so it's staggered to the times it's harvested.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have Sam Morris.
Madam Chairman, Commissioners, I'm Sam Morris. I'm one of the property owners on Acers Road. My buddy John Stewart and I bought property there about 20 years ago. And about 2 years ago, I built there, and it's right now it's a second home for me. I'm there 1 or 2 nights a week, but in the not too distant future, I plan on retiring and being there pretty much all the time. And Roger Lumsden is the only mailbox on Acers Road. He's the only house on Acers Road. And frankly, what he's telling you is true about the garbage that's dumped there. And I've observed it for all these years. And rode through there this afternoon, somebody's just dumped a sofa there on Acers Road. And our property is kind of downhill from the road. People back the trucks up, throw stuff over the fence, and it rolls down the hill. And it's been kind of a constant problem. We've had also incidences where we've had people coming in and trespassing, and we've had air conditioning units stolen. I wrote a letter to you guys a month or so ago about some of the issues we've dealt with. And, you know, as one of the landowners on that property, I would be in favor of closing that road. I'd like to point out that the other road, Barron Road, is probably, I'm going to guesstimate, I haven't measured it, but I'm guessing it's about 1.25 miles further down Massengale Mill Road toward Georgia 85. So yes, it may be a little bit longer drive if you're coming into Greenville from that direction. But as Roger Lumsden pointed out, it's also the closest way to get into Gay. I mean, we're so happy to now have the 24/7 ambulance service in Gay. I want to thank you guys for that. So I just want to go on record and say that I would be in favor of closing the road.
Mr. Stewart? Wait, Mr.
John Stewart, and Sam and I co-own property there. And he's touched on most of the issues just as well as Roger. And on the way over here, we actually rode through just to take a look at both roads. And from looking at the road, okay, Barron Road looks like a better road than Acres Road as far as being a nice flat road and one that would be easier to maintain, and I think better road looking to drive on. And they say the issues have come up about using that road to go south. It would only benefit somebody if they were going south. If they were going to Griffin, I've heard that mentioned. I've heard Fayetteville mentioned, and all those others. You wouldn't use that road. But we've had issues like that. I was like Sam. I don't live okay on the property all of the time. And back in 2008, I had a break-in. Roughly $20,000 was the insurance claim. So we're talking about the difference of a little over a mile. I actually think Barron Road is a better road because it's a much flatter road. It'd be easier to maintain. If there is an issue with the bridge, I've seen the one on Acres being washed out. Like years past because of the stream that goes through there. So there had to be a county repair. That's why I see it. To some, it will be a minor inconvenience. to us, it would keep us from having to take sulfurs to the dump, truck tires to the dump, as well as folks just backing up and dumping on the garbage. Okay, and we haven't come to look at the county to actually solve that, because by the time it rolls downhill, it's way okay on our property. So, we've had to incur the effort to try to keep it clean. So that's another reason why we believe Barron would be a better road, and that we would like to see it close so that we don't suffer the inconvenience of having to take rid of the sofa that's on there now that we saw today on the way over here.
I have a question, Madam Chair.
Boyd has a
Mr.
question.
Stewart, you are an engineer by profession, I
Yes.
believe I'm correct on that.
Yes.
When you look at that road, I think you're looking at it more than a casual eye.
Yeah, as you say, if you look at acres, it's up and down hills. It's not a wide road. If you meet another vehicle in the wrong spot on acres, somebody's going to have to back up.
I think the right of way is ditch to ditch, is that right?
And but there's a lot of areas there where where like around the road is here, but like it rolls off fairly steeply, and
Yeah.
so that would be a difficulty in vehicles trying to pass each other.
This is your district.
Yeah, I want to make a couple comments. First, I appreciate you all sharing your information and your concerns, and for those who are wanting to see the road closed and those who don't want to see the road closed. This is in my district. When it was first brought to my attention several months ago, I did go and drive on the road to see it. And then yesterday, I went back on the road again to drive it. These are some of my concerns. Number one, I understand Ms. Ratliff's concern because the bulk of her property, her frontage, is on that. And so closing that road, I think, to some degree would be a disadvantage for her as a landowner, so that if she chooses to stay there or sell it at any given time, not having access to that road is a concern of mine. So what that's going to look like later on down the road. As far as the road itself, there are some narrow areas, but what I was most interested yesterday when I went down, I was traveling the road, I saw the post person coming, the mail lady coming through. And I was able to stop and ask her about going down the road. Has she had any problems going up and down the road? And she said, none whatsoever. I know there's some narrow areas, but she said, considering how some of the Meriwether County roads look, she didn't have no complaints. There's one mailbox, true enough, but I asked her in the event that this road was closed, and I did get a chance to talk to the postmaster today in Greenville, what would be the option? Other than if the gentleman would have to move his mailbox from Acres up to Massaneer. So either she would have to go down the road, turn around, come back up to Massaneer, then go around to Barron Road, then to go over to deliver mail on that, and then into the subdivision that's off of Barron Road. So once again, everybody's on a time factor. I just thought that was something to consider. Probably the thing that I'm most concerned about is in the event of there was a catastrophe. We are now experiencing things in our country from flooding to fires to all kinds of unnatural disasters that are happening that we have no control over. And I just hate to see us put ourselves in a position where we landlock ourselves. We don't have ways to get in and out. I know Barron Road is an option, but I hate to see us lock ourselves if we don't have, because the subdivision on the other side, that's 70 people. And if something happens, just like we had this past winter with Montgomery Road, we had no idea, in Jubeline, no one would have ever possibly guessed we would have had that kind of catastrophe. But once again, it inconvenienced us. I believe in keeping as many assets so that people can go up and down. And in reading the state's thing on closing a road, it said it has to serve no public purpose. Well, it does serve a public purpose in the sense that people use it. Just because they don't use it every day doesn't necessarily mean it's not being used. So once again, I just have a concern of landlocking Miss Ratliff in the sense that the bulk of her property frontage, even though her house sits far back and her mailbox, but like she says, if she needed people to come and do work for her, or anybody needs to do work, if Barron Road was out, if Beulah Road was out, I mean, I'm sure that was an option. I'm just looking at the feasibility of making sure that we can get in and out if something ever happens. Now, addressing the issue that Mr. Rumps brought up about dumping, unfortunately, that is a serious problem in Marietta County. And I hate to say this might sound a little ugly and coy on my part, but if we could close a lot of roads in Marietta County just because of dumping. Everybody's road would want to be closed because of dumping. Unfortunately, we have people who find it's just best to just go dump. Now, when I went on there yesterday, I saw one sofa, but it's the same sofa I saw a month ago. So maybe somebody brought another sofa since yesterday. But overall, the road was very clean, and that may be because you and the other landlords are taking the time to clean it.
Absolutely.
But that is true for,
Absolutely.
and that's not your job. I know that. But unfortunately, there are a lot of other citizens who do the same thing.
Sure.
You know, so
Sure.
just to close a road simply because we got trash. Now, I also called the sheriff department to see, have you had any reports on vandalism or anything like that? Based on what they said, they've not received anything lately. Then I also contacted our 911 and to see, as far as our emergency trucks and things of that nature, do they have a problem going up and down that road? They said no. So I guess for me, I still feel it serves a purpose for the general public. I understand your concern, and believe me, it is an awful feeling to see people dumping in front of your property.
Yes.
It really is. It's not so. But my thing that I do want to ask you, if you choose to close it, where do you want the road to be closed? Where would you put a gate? I mean, because this lady has to be able to get to her property.
Respectfully, may I come up?
Yeah, please.
Respectfully, first of all, as far as Mrs. Ratliff, I respect her. She has a gate, one gate that fronts Acers Road. That gate is used, as she just said, for timbering. There may be timbering that's taking place on that property every 10 years. I don't believe that gate's even been opened one time. If in fact that's important to her as far as having that gate, she was talking about putting her mailbox there, which respectfully, I don't think that makes sense. We would close it at Massengale's Mill, and I would be so happy to have my mailbox removed from the county road, so there's no issue as far as the post office delivering to me, because all of my mail goes to the post office box except for junk mail. So we could leave Miss Ratliff mentioned to me that she thinks her property will decline in value by closing that road. I don't believe that's true. As far as her having that gate there, that gate is closer to the intersection of Barron Road and Acers. And for someone to go out of their way 1 mile to get to Greenville, Georgia, or Point South, wow, that's incredible compared to all the other places that you have to go. As far as, again, I reiterate, the emergency medical, the volunteer fire, the fastest way to get to the subdivision or to Mrs. Ratliff's home is to come straight down the flat road, Barron Cemetery Road, not Acers.
Well, I guess my question to you, let's say Barron Road, for whatever reason, was not passable. Let's say there was a situation where that road itself was not available to go down.
Yes.
Then, other than, what other options, other than Acer? or
Beulah Evans, another flat road, empties right on to Luthersville Road, which is paved. Not a problem whatsoever. It is a little bit further around there, but it comes straight into the subdivision, actually 2 subdivisions.
It is a good little piece from Luthersville Road, though. I mean, I drove it yesterday.
Yeah.
Now, once again, just to get clarity from me, and hopefully the board, if you close the road, where are you proposing to put the fence? Where do you break off from her property line?
Again, we want to close it at Massengale Mill if we can. And then if it needs to be closed where my property meets hers, which is just up 100 yards or so
That's right.
to Barron Cemetery. If we have to close it there, that's fine.
But if you're closing right at Massengale, how does that stop people from coming on the road if they're coming off Barron Road? Where's the gate?
We would close it up there. It's very close. It's not far at all.
I was on there yesterday.
Yes, ma'am.
I guess my thing is, Massengale's blocked off. You can't go that way.
Right.
I got that. So, when you come home, you're gonna go Barron and then up Acer, right?
No, nothing to do with Barron. I would just come Massengale's Mill straight up to my mailbox where I live, my driveway, off of the paved road, not very far. Now, one of the things that I have mentioned to Mrs. Ratliff, I said I will put in a gate with a solar-powered remote control. If you have to go down Acers Road and save that 1 mile, then I will do it and go to that expense to allow her to go down Acers Road, even though, in my humble opinion, it's not necessary at all. So I'm willing to do that.
But what about when she's needing people to come, or anyone needing people to come and do service or do work for them?
They may have to go that extra mile.
Well, let me interrupt,
Commissioner
because
Hines.
that's why I asked the question, was the gate locked at all times? Because with that gate being locked, then Mrs. Ratliff has to go and unlock that gate for service people to come in and be able to do things. And I remember you saying that you would put up that gate and allow any property owner at that point to be able to access Acers Road with no
Yes.
issue.
Yes.
So that, again, is the reason for my question, is that gate locked? And you do have to go and unlock it for the service people to come in. It's not much more of an inconvenience, in my personal opinion, to go and open the gate to where the road is blocked off.
Yes. There's a misnomer here, again, in my humble opinion and respectfully. That gate is never used unless you cut timber every 5, 6, 7, 10 years. No other service people need to access that gate. They need to go down her driveway to her home, which is on Barron Road. So, that's all I can tell you.
Mr. Lumpson, I guess the only concern I would have about the frontage that she has on Acers is by putting the gate at the rear of her property beyond the gate that she showed us.
Yes.
It would leave her with that much road frontage and probably have some impact on the value of her place. It would just give her more road frontage. That would be my only concern with that.
I'm more than willing and happy if that's what the commissioner so decided for that to take place.
Okay.
I have one other question, and this may go to Mr. Day. In the event that it is voted on to close the road, and let's say later on down the road that the property is sold, and Ms. Rafford sells hers or whatever, what happens then as far as the county having anything to do with the road? It's completely, once it's closed, it's abandoned?
It's closed.
So that means if she sells it, then the person who buys it has the understanding that that road does not belong to the county? At any given time, if they wanted to bring it back to the county to have it open, do they have that option?
No, we're leaving that public. This part right here would stay public. That's what we were saying.
That would take all of
Her
her
property
property.
would stay on a public road.
May I add something?
But to answer your question, Ms. Shirley, with that,
The gate
once
would
the
be there.
property would be abandoned, once the road's abandoned, at that time, the property would go back and revert back to the property owners on each side.
Okay.
County would have no further obligation to maintain that road. In fact, if there was a desire in the future, and I understand it's in a program where it can't be developed, but let's
Right,
just say
because
something
it's-
happens
it
and it
is-
does,
right.
it would be back on the owner of the property to redevelop it and build a road to the county standards at that time.
At that time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And I'd like to clarify something, Madam Chair, if I may. This code section, it's OCGA 32-7-2, and it addresses several different types of things. But under subsection B1, it's actually what you need to use to determine that you're making a decision, is that you have to determine whether the property has ceased to be used by the public to the extent that no substantial public purpose is served by it. or that it's removed from the county road system is otherwise in the best interest of the county.
So that's all we need to consider
That's
for
what you
us
need to
to making the decision.
Thank you again for your consideration.
Is
I would
there
like-
anyone else in the audience that would like to
I
speak?
would like to say something here. I don't know if it carries any weight with the present board, but before we bought the land and came into the county, all the roads were in total disrepair. It was a compliment to call them goat trails. We came over to the courthouse, which is where all the powers to be were at the time. And we were assured that if we bought that property, that those roads would be refurbished and maintained for our use. At the time, we were the only ones coming in there. I predated him by what, 20 years? How long? I know for 20 years or more, the closest neighbor was down at the mill. And I believe Hope Massadale was the last one that lived down there. And he was a good guy. But anyway, the thing is, I've been there 45 years now, and I've used all of the roads, and talking about things being blocked, trees come down, branches come down, and any road at any given time is subject to being blocked. If you all remember when Hurricane Francis hit some years back, we had the tornado heater bands came up, and the tornadoes tore up trees, massive grandfather oak fell on my front yard, power was out, and I got out of there, and I had to find a road. I did go up, at that time, I went up Beulah Evans, and I ran over, I was in part of the ditch, and over the tops of trees that were down, and the place was a mess. There were roads even on I-85 when I got that far. I stopped at the firehouse in Luthersville and told them about some of the trees on the main road, Luthersville Road, that were, again, going in the ditch, going around and on over the top. And it was just hard getting out. And that was just, and we are in a tornado alley. About 4 years ago, I had one come through my yard. 2 more massive trees came down. I still got the root balls there. And managed to live through it. Just hunkered down in the basement, prayed like I never prayed. I'm serious. The debris was hitting the house, and I was blessed to have a house left. But as for the road on Farron Road being straight, there's a marvelous red hill right after you pass the crossroad, and that is problematical at almost all times. Done a good job at trying to get a gravel base on it. It just, when it's wet, it's still a slick mess. And you do have curves, and you do have ups and downs. You have a place where it goes down in a low area right before you get to the crossroad that you had closed, which left an escape, closed in an escape hatch. I think of it that way. I've come down, I've driven roads, and I've been followed out of Fayetteville. I told the commissioner about this the other day. I was followed from Riverdale all the way through Fayetteville. I saw the headlights, so I was watching. And in the passing lane below Fayetteville, the car went past me, and watching it again, he swerved to hit me, and I swerved to get on the shoulder. And he just folded up the side view mirror, and I pulled up behind him. I hit my brakes, and he went and shot in front of me, and I pulled and got the license tag. And the fella gets out, and 3 other fellas, and they're just milling around. This one comes back up, he's looking like I heard his car. He said, "You want to come out and see what damage is done?" And I was thinking like I was pigs flying. I followed me to the police station, and I was able to make a U-turn and go there. Came out of Beulah Evans Road years ago, and this car in front of me had, braked, and when it came up behind me, with the bright lights on, it had blocked in. This is serious. And what I did was got a revolver out of the glove compartment, driver's car, then my van. And I held it up in the bright light so they could see the profile. And when I did that, the one behind dropped the lights and backed off, and the one in front took off. But these things happen, okay? And you scared me to death when you closed that first crossroad because I saw it as an escape hatch leaving. If someone's following me, I don't want to come to the dead end and find I'm trapped there. I want to be able to get out.
Thank you, Ms.
I mean,
Ratliff, we appreciate it.
There's just, like I said, there's just hazards any way you look. And
Yes.
like I said, there are some curves, nice sharp curves up there. They don't bother me, Acers doesn't bother me.
Thank you.
And steep hill on real Evans.
Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak on
Sure, I have
this?
one question from a 911 standpoint. Mr. Lumpkin, is your house currently addressed on Barron or Acres?
On Acres.
Okay. Just FYI for that, if you did vote to close that, you probably have to readdress your residence
That's right.
just to get it in, so we have access to you and
Sure.
if Acres is no longer there, it can't be an addressable road. So
Understood.
that's all I think.
Thank you.
Are there any other comments? Okay, if there are none, we have a motion to go out of the public hearing.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? All right, we're now out of the public hearing, and are we ready to take action?
You can take action tonight, or you can hold it, whatever you guys
I'd like to
want.
defer to Commissioner Hines. This is her district as to what she would like us to do.
The board can take action. This is the second time that this has been brought to the board. It was brought to the board in 2008. There has also been one other road closed since then, so I'm sure, at this point in time, we've heard everybody's point of view. And we'll just make a vote.
What would you prefer? I'll defer to you. It's your district.
After listening to everyone and also driving onto the road and just seeing it, at this time, I still feel that it serves a public use. I understand the concern about the dumping. I understand the concern about your private property, protecting it. But unfortunately, I do believe that closing the road would not be at the best interest of Meriwether County as a whole. Even though it's in my district, I consider the county as a whole. And as a whole, I think it would not be to our advantage to close the road. That's just my personal opinion. So I do not, I'm not in agreement for closing the road. I think the road needs to stay open.
Okay, we have a second.
Before we do, I'd like to ask Ms. Hendricks if she could tell us again what that subsection states exactly.
I'll be glad to read it to you again. It says, when it is determined that a section of the county road system has for any reason ceased to be used by the public to the extent that no substantial public purpose is served by it, or that its removal from the county road system is otherwise in the best interest of the county, then it may be closed.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second? I'll second it. All in favor? All opposed? Okay. We'll have to table it to another
The
time.
whole board.
To the whole board. Okay.
Okay.
All right, now we'll go down to old business. This is Department of Public Health for change in the county code. This will be the second reading.
We're going to, Madam Chair, we're going to need to table that again as well. Mr. Gay and Mr. Garrett and Mr. Spooner and myself are going to get together and revise that code, and it would actually then be the first reading.
Okay, do we have a motion to table the public health reading?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, next we have the appointment to the Pathways Board. This is Commissioner Threadgill's district.
And I did speak to Bill Tomlin, and he is going to continue on the board. So at this time, I'd like to make the recommendation that we reappoint Bill Tomlin.
All right, we have a second.
You got it, second.
All right, all in favor? All right, now down to new business. We have the presentation by ACCG. We have Jeff Christie and Mara Register here. They want to come forward.
Fred.
That's a good guy to have on your side. Well, good evening, Madam Chairman, Commissioners. I'm going to address kind of the audience and the Commission at the same time, if I may. As the Chairwoman said, my name is Jeff Christie. I'm with ACCG, that's Georgia's County Association. And this evening, we are extremely pleased. I am pleased to be joined by Mayor Register with the Carl Vinson Institute of Government at the University of Georgia. And in my role at ACCG, I am the Deputy Director of Leadership Development, which means I have co-responsibility with my boss to oversee the education and training programs that we offer. Those are part of that training program's been in existence since 1986. It's been upgraded twice now, and in 2013 we transitioned over to the Lifelong Learning Academy. Commissioners and county staff can participate in our programs, and the first phase of that program is a Commissioner's Certification Program. And I believe Meriwether County is, I'm not going to say completely unique, but really close in that all 5 of their commissioners are certified, which we'll talk about in a minute. However, there were 2 commissioners who became certified this calendar year. And we have not yet had an opportunity to acknowledge those commissioners. And sadly, Ms. Rosela is not with us tonight, but she is being represented. In order for a commissioner to become certified, they have to take a 9-course certification regimen that consists of 66 educational hours. The curriculum is designed by the Carl Vinson Institute, instructed by a combination of their staff and some of our own. And the topics, I won't name all the classes, but there are leadership components, economic development, revenue and finance. These are the tools that commissioners need in order to serve you, the public that elected them. So it is a great honor for us to be able to recognize tonight the 2 most recently certified commissioners in Meriwether County. One of those, as I mentioned, is Ms. Rosela. Our prayers and thoughts are with her that she will recover and become well and be right back here with y'all next week, I'm sure. So I'm going to give the floor to Mayor. I'll hold these while she introduces herself, and then we'll make these presentations.
Madam Chairman, Commission members, it's truly an honor for Jeff and I to be here with you all this evening. Again, a very unique situation here in Georgia out of 159 counties, in that you now will have a fully certified county commission. That is quite an accomplishment. On behalf of our President, Mary Moorhead, our Vice President, Dr. Jennifer Fromm, and our Director, Dr. Laura Meadows, and as your Leadership Development Program Manager, I have seen all of you in class many, many times, and I am very proud when I see you in class, because your public dollars that you invest in your education is critically important to how you serve your citizens. We say we are not in the education business. We are in the business of helping counties serve their citizens better. And so, again, it is absolutely a privilege to be here with my compatriot and partner from ACCG, Jeff Christie. And at this time, we're going to present some certificates.
All right, so the first certificate, and I can't remember, Ms. Shirley, when the last class that I believe it was probably April in Savannah, Chatham County, that she took her 9th and final class in her certification regimen. So Commissioner Shirley Hines, if you would like to come down and accept.
Can I get a? No. All right, let's just hold it. I'm gonna go on 3. 1, 2, 3. One more for Johnny. Perfect. And can I get a picture?
Congratulations, Ms.
Shirley.
Shirley.
You with it? All right. All right, guys.
Got a glare.
Yep, exactly. I'm getting glare from my forehead.
Those people.
Thank you.
I do want to make a comment right now, if that's okay. Once again, this is truly a wonderful opportunity for this entire board. As I attended the different classes, and one of the good things is they have classes in different places throughout the state, which is good. You get a chance to meet other commissioners in different areas, and most of them would say they didn't want to be there, they didn't want to go to the classes or anything of that nature, but it was such a learning experience. In order for me to serve the constituents of Meriwether County, I know that I needed to get this information so that I could be a better commissioner. So in saying that, this entire board has done that, and there's not a lot of commissioners that have gotten their certification. I had met people who had been commissioners for 6, 7, 8, 10 years, had not done this. So once again, I'm proud to have this, but I'm even more proud to know that this entire board realized the importance of getting the skill set so that they can better serve the citizens of Meriwether County. So on behalf of me receiving this and the board as a whole, and hopefully we can get our plaques and put them up and everybody can see them. So when they come into our facility, they know that they've got some certified county commissioners.
I have the great pleasure of being able to interact with the vast majority of Georgia's 810 county commissioners. And it's been a great pleasure professionally for me over the last several years to see a change in attitude from when people used to look at training as an expense. It was just another line item that the county put in the budget so that some of those budget dollars could be directed to training. That tide has completely shifted, and people are beginning to realize that training and education is not an expense, it's an investment. When you, the public, support your commissioners becoming more well-trained, more well-educated, what that empowers them to do is to come home here and to make better decisions on your behalf. And we have collected handfuls of stories, just anecdotal stories, where commissioners learned something or gained a new skill, came home and are now making decisions that are saving the county tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars because of the skills that they gained. And I certainly believe that you're looking at a board that has gained an awful lot of those skills through their dedication and their commitment. And second on that list of folks is Commissioner Rose LaPlante, and her husband Mike has agreed to graciously come tonight to accept her plaque on her behalf. Congratulations. Please give her our best. And let her know.
You really wanted to be here tonight.
There we go. 1, 2, 3. And again, 1, 2, 3. All right.
But when the doctor says no, that's what he means.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, Lady Commissioners, thank you for the opportunity to be with you all. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of your meeting. It is an honor for us to serve Meriwether County. We don't have accurate records on how many commissions there are out of Georgia's 159 that can be referred to as fully certified, every member of the board. But I think that just through my observations, I can promise you, I don't know what the number is, but it's probably not more than the fingers on this hand. So Meriwether County joins a very distinguished group of a handful of counties with a fully certified board. That's a credit to you all. Congratulations. And I'm off back to Atlanta, and I know Mayra is off to another county somewhere else. So thank you for this opportunity, and we hope that y'all have a wonderful evening and safe travels to everybody.
Thank you. Okay, next on our agenda, under new business, is the discussion posting no-through truck signs. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chairman, I would like, Ms. Roseland had asked about that, because she's had some issues with trucks, using.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, EMS. Y'all like to come forward? Good. I'm sorry. I got my notice over here to the side. We were trying to keep you, not make you be here so long. I'm sorry it's been so long.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, we appreciate this opportunity. We wanted to share something that we thought was pretty special. It's kind of a bittersweet scenario, but we have someone that's retiring, and we really thought that they were well worth the mention and recognition of their efforts. So Bruce, if you don't mind. Bruce is an extraordinary example of something you really don't see anymore. He has a very long, distinguished career in public safety. Things you don't see anymore, people, staying in a particular field for a long time. Bruce has been in public safety for 40 years. He has been with Troup County for 35. He has been here for 14 years total, 12 years in the last consecutive years. He has helped lead a shift here, I think, for around 10 years as a captain, a shift leader and a captain here. So he has contributed a great amount to this county, and I think we are, and always will be, in his debt. He has been faithful, dependable, an exemplary, just an exemplary employee and servant to the county. So we wanted to recognize this. It's a very small token, but we wanted to recognize him and his service here and congratulate him on just an excellent career, and wish him the best of luck with his retirement. But as of the end of this month, he will be entering into retirement, so it's bittersweet, but we just want to wish him the best and recognize him tonight. So, Bruce.
Our plaque says in recognition of his service to Meriwether County from 2004 to 2016. Paramedic Bruce Stevens. This is Captain Stevens, by the way. Meriwether County Fire and Rescue. Thank you.
You gonna get in the picture? Lobby?
I was gonna say, he's worked more years than this with Meriwether County.
This was your right.
I can remember a long time ago.
You're busier now than you have been.
Yeah,
You're going to retire.
I'm thinking now my wife's gonna put up with me. So I might be back about 30 days.
I told somebody I'm never retired. First of all, I can't afford it. Second of all, I don't know who'd kill who. Me, kill my wife, or she killed me.
1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Very good, thank you.
At the very least, we'll drive each other crazy.
Thank you.
We're gonna get the military units?
No, it's going to last. It's going to last. Yeah. We'll go back to the trucks. We're going to 2 trucks. You sure we can do that? Sure, we can do no trucks.
Okay, now we'll move on to the discussion of the
Those
got
three
through
trucks.
10, right?
What,
That was number 10 before you moved up.
Yeah, we moved number 2 to number 10, so.
for those 3 trucks, I'd like to hold until Ms. Rosen's back, if you guys don't mind.
Okay.
Because I kind of wanted to go over what we may be able to do to keep some trucks from going down, some of the county roadways, that are residential areas, it's shortcuts. So if you guys don't mind, I'll put that back on and bring that back to the next meeting.
All right, can we have a motion to table the no through truck sign?
So move to table.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, all right, thank you. All right, next will be to accept a donation of 6,100 gallon storage tank from the Meriwether White Springs.
Right, yes, ma'am. Madam Chairman, Commissioners, we had an opportunity to meet with the owner, and he had offered to, he just said, hey, dude, I've got a water tank that we really can't use as part of our operations, and we'd be happy to donate it to the county if you guys have a use for it. And of course, I immediately thought about public safety and the need to have reservoir water, and 6,100 gallons is a lot of water.
Yes,
We also, I've talked to Tyrell about it, the potential they might could use it some in some of the construction projects. But I think ultimately we decided the best thing was to probably have it at the fire department. So this is valued at approximately a little over $5,000, and so we wanted to bring it to the board tonight to ask you guys to accept it, number one, and to, we've already written Mr. Kingwood a letter, but we'd like to send him a letter thanking him in greater detail for his contribution.
All right, can we have a motion to accept this donation from Meriwether White Springs?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? All right, next on the agenda is changing the time of our next meeting.
Madam Chairman, Commissioners, that was just a request to change from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. We've been trying to schedule our fire department, fire district meetings and presentations. We have one that morning with a group that only meets periodically, and they meet at 9 o'clock on that day, at 8:30. 8:30 that day, so we wanted to be able to do the presentation and have time to get back to the meeting, so that's why we're requesting that it go to 10 o'clock that day.
Okay, here in this recommendation, can we have a motion to change the time? That would be that meeting only from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on September 14th.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, next will be discussion of moratorium on development around Lake Meriwether.
Madam Chairman, Commissioners, work session at your last meeting, we talked about a lot of things that, with Lake Meriwether, including the trail and a lot of things that are going on there. One of the things that came up was the issue of, development around the lake that occurred in the past without a lot of rules or regulations. And, we understood the board wanted to consider possibly putting a moratorium on any development or construction around the lake until we could get back and better define the objectives and better define the criteria that we want to be able to manage that lake, because it is a water service lake. So my recommendation would be that we just place a moratorium on the development of the properties that front the lake. And I would say that we need to choose a time. I would say through January 1, Ron, what do you think? January 1 of 2017. And because you have to put, I think, Susan, a specific time when you have a moratorium. And so what we'll do is we ask you guys just to place that development moratorium until that date, and we'll bring back, and if we finish the rules and regs in the meantime, we can go back and redo it. Okay.
All right, here in this recommendation, do we have a motion to? Okay.
Is it appropriate for me to ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
I was just curious whether that moratorium also included any further conversation with regard to the trail, or you're just talking about the property that people might build a house?
This would be building around Lake Meriwether.
Right, absolutely.
We have a motion regarding the moratorium on development around Lake Meriwether.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Thank you.
All right, next will be to accept the grand jury presentments from August.
Yes, ma'am. And that's straightforward. There were not really any actions or appointments, but we like to get those back in the minutes.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the
So
grand jury.
moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? All right, next will be one of the things that we added to our agenda. This is a change order on Beaver Chase.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chairman, Commissioners, we had let to bid the resurfacing project that you see that's going on right now around the county. One of the roadways is a dead-end road. That's Beaver Chase Lane. I think it's in Commissioner McCoy's district. And when we looked at that, Tyrell and I talked about it, and it may be advantageous to the county to be able to put a cul-de-sac at the end of the road. It's a dead end that just now goes in dead end. So if you go down the road, you got to turn around in driveways, etc. Understanding that we had bid this project, we wanted, before we spend any dollars on that, we would bring it back for the board to have a change order. Our contractor has given us a price of $4,800 to be able to accomplish that cul-de-sac. That includes about 60 loads of GAB, and of course they'll have to get their grading and base crew out as well. And we would recommend that we look at doing that. I think it's a good way to end the road, and I I think it will serve us well.
I understand the bus has to go, school bus has to go down this road.
Yes, ma'am,
as well.
that's right, school bus as well.
All right, hearing this recommendation from Mr. Gabe, what's your pleasure?
I move that we accept the recommendation.
All right, we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, there is. Not only is there a safety factor involved in this road, there's also the potential for some detriment to our new pavement, because this thing is up the side of a hill there. And I don't know that you would want erosion and what have you starting there and running down on our new, because it in itself could cause another safety problem.
Right.
All right, all in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next will be a sign application for the Covered Bridge Road.
Yes, ma'am.
Covered Bridge.
Chairman, Commissioners, we have some citizens, and I talked to Mr. Jim Sibley about it. We're looking at putting a sign up that indicates the historic bridge. And I think they went to make application to GDOT and realized, oh, the county has to make that application. And so I talked to Mr. Sibley yesterday, and he asked if you guys would consider allowing that. Of course, what we have to do is to make the application, which we've got in hand. We'd have to sign a hold harmless with the state that we'd assume any liability with the sign, but that's not going to be, anything out of the norm. And then they will do the construction. They may ask us to help erect the sign once it's built, and we can do that with public works crews. So, considering that, we would recommend that the county make that application to allow the sign to be erected on GDOT right now.
Okay, can we have a motion to make the sign application for the Covered Bridge? So moved. Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? All right, our final item on the agenda will be the adoption of the millage rate. We had a call meeting at 5 o'clock today to discuss that. And whatever.
Okay, Chairman, Commissioners, we have our, some of our assessors in the back, and we have Ms. Ward still with us as well. What we're looking at with this millage rate, we've got the school's millage rate, and Joey, they had actually used last year's rate, is that right?
Right.
Right. And so they're looking at a rate of 18.575, and then they have a 0.68 bond rate, which will be part of the Board of Education. The county would be looking at, and I need to find my numbers here again, we would be looking at our rollback rate that we discussed in the public hearing, and that would be 13.669 would be our rollback rate, which, again, we talked about that earlier. That leaves you basically where you were the previous year. And so in considering this, the board needs to adopt your millage rate and then confirm the adoption of the school millage rate, because all those documents have to be signed by the county and taken to the Department of Revenue.
All right, can we have a motion to adopt the millage rate of 13.669? And do I need to include the Board of Education's number
Yes,
as
ma'am.
well
You
of
can include theirs as well.
18.575 and a bond of 1.68?
It's 0.6. Yeah, 0.68.
0.68,
Yes, ma'am.
okay.
0.68. Right.
Okay. All right, correct it to 0.68.
Right.
Then we have a motion to accept this. So moved. Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Yes, ma'am. And we'll need to get these printed and get you a signature page on that.
All right,
Okay,
thank you. All right, next we'll have a report from our county administrator.
Okay, finance?
Okay. Got too much written
Yeah, me too. I
So much
wanted
stuff on my thing.
him to give me just a minute to
Okay.
get my stuff on there.
Yeah. Did we just have one sheet?
That's
You
just
signed?
one,
Okay,
just one.
all right.
If you just take a look at the bank balances, the general fund is right at $500,000. Got a telephone call from one of our GMA representatives today. He's going to bring us a check for about $150,000 tomorrow. So with that, we'll be able to stay out of the tan for another week or so.
We may make it to September.
We may make it to September. It's gonna be real close. I bet
That's
during the meeting,
great.
I was doing some cash flow projections and had to sharpen my pencil just a little bit more, but I think we're gonna make it.
Let's just make it to
That's
September.
good, that's
That'd be
good.
awesome.
A couple other things, bids go out, they'll be in the paper Friday, advertising the Duke Line Road and King Road repairs. And I think some of that money that's coming in tomorrow will go towards paying for those two. And we started the work on the roof on the jail yesterday. So that'll probably take a couple of weeks to do that. And that's all I got except for some meeting stuff. We can talk about that when you get down to future meetings.
Okay. All right. Any questions, Bill?
I see some differences in the animal shelter line.
Animal shelter line. We used some of that money to buy some those special beds that they did, veranda beds or something like that. They were about $5,000.
All right. Any other comments? Any questions? Okay. Now we'll move on to Mr. Gay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Want to let you guys know we have reviewed with GDOT the CSX agreements. We've mailed those back to CSX along with a letter explaining that future maintenance would entail within the existing footprint of the bridge where they don't want to, we won't get into an issue of expansion. They actually have a crew, they've told me, that is finishing up with another job, and I asked them to hold that crew and go ahead and send them here. So hopefully we'll get this started, and I'll coordinate with them and correspond with them and get you guys a report back on when they're looking to start that construction. We've done fire district presentations. We did the Rotary Club, the Kiwanis Club, and we're scheduled, have a scheduled program next Sunday morning at 8 o'clock in Woodbury. So we're going to be doing that, and of course we talked today, Beverly and I talked with Warm Springs Hospital today, and we're going to try to do a program there. And any others that are out there, we're still
One in
looking
Warm
for.
Springs on September 13th.
That's right.
And
Yes,
then
ma'am.
another one the 14th, the day of our meeting, so we got
Right.
several set up.
So we got several set up, and we'll continue to, to work on those. One thing that I'd like the board to start looking and thinking about is your 2017 LMIG programs. We're actually going to have a little bit more dollars. We're going to get about $654,500 for the next year's LMIG. We're probably too late in the paving season this year, but I'd like to go ahead and get that program together where we go ahead and get those bids out, and we can start early spring next year with our paving and go ahead and get that done a little bit sooner. Terrell's been working with our paving guys. He's been out checking on them every day. They are scheduled, today I think they were out at Beaver Chase and possibly Johnson. They're going to be on Johnson Road, Forest, possibly Keith on Wednesday. Monday they're looking at County Line Church Road and Mitcham Road. And on Tuesday they're looking at Mitchell Cove and Grant Avenue. Weather pending, that will finish up the leveling, the patching and leveling portion of the contract. And I've had a lot of compliments on this gate connector out here already, and I said, just wait, that's just the leveling course. It's going to look a lot better. But the leveling has to cure for a while, and then they will be back in to do the final coating. And then from there, of course, we'll get the striping in. The striping, you see, that's just temporary. But program's moving along well, and I think they're doing a good job, and I appreciate Terrell, staying on top of that. Bill had mentioned the Jute Line and King Road. He's been working on that. I'm going to finish the courthouse wall RFP this week as well, and we'll probably get that in the paper next week, and we're going to go ahead and start to mail those out to be able to get the contractor information back in and get those bids. I did contact DNR about a review of the Lake Meriwether plans. They're out of town this week at a conference this person we want to speak with, and so I've left a message, and we're going to get them down, or we'll go visit them, either one, and get everything squared away. We're getting ready to interview for our recreation position. We've looked at those. We'll be setting those interviews up probably next week. And that's really what I have. Thank y'all.
All right, thank you.
CSNX,
Yes, sir.
do you think that will be turned out here shortly? I mean,
I think it will be started shortly. He said that the note I got from Doug Spitznagel, he said, I've been informed that we have a bridge gang coming available that can move to begin work.
Okay.
And so that was his comments back to me on that. And I asked him when I spoke to him on the phone, I said, hold that crew, don't sign them anywhere else. Documents are being returned to. So. Okay.
I don't have anything except tell Ms. Rose that we're thinking about her, and we'll look forward to the next meeting with her.
I just have just a couple of things. Things have been really busy around here, as you can see, for all we had to do tonight. I mean, it's just almost been a whirlwind. But there are a lot of good things happening. Have a few things that are finally coming to a conclusion that we have worked on for a long time, but it seems like as one thing comes to a conclusion, something else comes up. But so far, we've been able to be on top of it. And of course, there are good things happening all over the county. Of course, Warm Springs is my district, and I was able to be in a meeting yesterday with Carolyn and the mayor and all, with representatives and people with GDOT, about a GDOT project. There are a lot of good things going on there, and we hope that that will just carry on throughout the whole county. And, we can just start connecting one of our cities to the other. Somebody can come here and just spend a couple of days and just go from one place to the other. And the mayor mentioned about a new business in Warm Springs. I just want to say that will be my business. I'll be opening a gift shop there, hopefully September the 6th. So looking forward to becoming a merchant there in Warm Springs and becoming involved with their DDA. And just being down there working the last few weeks is so exciting to sit there and watch how many people are coming in and out. And this is not their busy time. It's what every merchant keeps saying, this is not when we're really so busy, but there's people just in and out constantly. It's good to see those people in there, good to see those buses coming in, church vans or whatever. So just looking forward to being part of that, and thank you for what all you're doing in Warm Springs.
thank you, I appreciate that. Not a whole lot, I just wanted to touch bases, and I think Mr. Johnson and I have already talked. Did you get your tractor in? Not yet.
I thought that was coming the other day.
Yeah, it's just.
Right-of-ways, the roadsides being mowed, I'm still getting hammered on that, and road scraping, taking care of those. That's about it, Tyra.
Commissioner Hines?
Not a whole lot for me either, other than the fact we had a brief meeting today with Ms. Ellen Coker, who's doing our social media, and Bryn was there, and Kelly. And once again, things are looking good around our social media and PR. Once again, for those in the audience, if you've not had an opportunity to like our Facebook page, please do. We talked about upgrading the website so that certain departments they can link to. One of the things that we had got a call on was the Turkey Run landfill. So we've discussed how we can have a link, and then they could put the verbiage in there about what the residents of Meriwether County can do and dump and things of that nature. So we'll get that part of the host agreement to you in terms that Susan can look at it and make sure that what we put in there is accurate and factual, and the middle part. But other than that, once again, it's things are, like the chairman said, things are a lot going on in Meriwether County. Once again, I wanted to applaud the chamber and the tourism group for all the work that you're doing. Your geocache and Woodbury, and that's really picking up. It's doing well. So thank you all for all the hard work that you're all doing. And thank you.
And from Ms. Ratliff's comments, you may need to get her on the tourism.
I'll give that a call.
Okay, we'll hear from our county attorney.
I really don't have any, I just wanted to apologize for missing the last meeting. Very rare event, we actually had a family vacation. And my dad attended, so I didn't want to miss that. I don't like to miss meetings, but that was kind of an unusual event. We will not need any further executive session. We did have an executive session immediately following the called meeting, and all issues were handled then. And so everybody gets to go home after public comment. Thank you.
All right, now we come time for the public comment. If there's anybody in the audience that would like to say anything, if you just come forward, sign in, give us your name and address, and we'll give you 3 minutes to ask questions, say anything. Joey's trying to hold them back there. Anyone? Okay. All right. If there's not, like I said, we've already taken care of the executive session, thank goodness. Under our future meetings, and dates, I know Mr. Bill has a couple of things to mention, but September 5th will be Labor Day holiday. September the 14th, that will be our regular Wednesday morning meeting, but that will be at 10 a.m. instead of 9 a.m. And then September the 27th at 6 p.m. will be a regular meeting. Mr. Bill, you have some other dates?
Yes, I thought with there earlier, and on September 14th, we'd like to schedule a public hearing for the budget at 11 o'clock.
That'll be following our regular meeting.
Right.
And if our meeting runs longer, what we could do is go into the public hearing and we can
Go back to
the
the meeting.
And the purpose of that is just to introduce the budget to the general public and answer any questions they might have.
Okay.
We'll make a copy available to the public the week before then on our website and out front if anybody wants to pick one up. We may put it in the paper this year. May or may not, I don't know. Doesn't have to charge us for it. And on the 27th, we'd like to adopt the budget.
Okay, would that need to be a call meeting just for that, or
we
just
can do
be
it
in the regular meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And,
And all the advertisements will be in the paper starting this Friday for that.
okay, and that's the meeting where Caroline and I will be at the ACC conference, and Commissioner McCoy will handle that meeting.
Prior to that meeting, we will cover any concerns or issues.
Yeah,
of
I'll just,
the board.
yeah.
We'll get you
Just
guys
so-
a copy as soon as we can.
It just so happened it fell on that same night, but that's when we'll do that presentation for ACC.
It's a great honor to be able to be there and do that presentation, so.
Okay, is that all?
That's all, thank you.
Any other business to come before the board? Hearing none, can we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second, all in favor? We're adjourned.
Y'all want to go to bed?
That didn't take long, did you see me?
Did you say you did get that put in?
I did not.
You did, somebody read both of them though. And you said that they actually put it in there for Friday, this Friday and next Friday. I said, I've got 2 vindicators. One of them, I've got your name on both of them. One of the news at Star and the other was John Evans.
Don't send it to anybody else, send it to me. Because it'll get,
I still got both of them. I put you on everything too.